Hey Ambo, are you black or are you white?
Black.
Take someone who is biracial, for example. Are they black? Are they white? Or are they something else entirely? The term black and white have come to symbolize much more than physical attributes. They have become cultural and political labels that suggest fixed identities. But if we pause and examine this concept much closely, we might find that the very categories we use to define ourselves and each other are more fluid than they appear. First, let's consider the science. Human beings as a species are biologically very similar. Melanin in the skin, for example, is a response to exposure to ultraviolet light, a direct result of ancestral origins in different climates. In this sense, the term black and white are a crude oversimplification of the vast genetic diversity within humanity. From a historical perspective, the categorization of humans into racial groups has been a relatively recent invention. The concept of race, particularly in the form of black and white, did not exist in the ancient world the way it does today. People were classified by their ethnicity, tribe, language, and culture, markers that were often more fluid and dynamic than the rigid binary of black and white. In fact, many societies had long histories of intermarriage, cultural exchange, and shared spaces where the lines between different groups were blurred. The idea of fixed racial categories emerged in the context of colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade, where the concept of racial differences were used to justify inequality, exploitation, and oppression. So, if race is a social construct, rather than a biological fact, where does that leave the idea of being black and white? These labels are deeply entrenched in our language, in the media, and in the legal and political systems. But if we step back, we can see that these categories don't capture the complexity of human identity. Identity is shaped by a multitude of factors: culture, upbringing, personal experiences, and even the way one perceives oneself. A person's race, as society defines it, it's often imposed upon them rather than choosing. And yet, despite the historical and social forces that have shaped the notion of race, we continue to accept it as an immutable fact. Take someone who is biracial, for example. Are they black? Are they white? Or are they something else entirely?